Hello, and welcome to the Pro Weight Loss webinar for Phase 3, Transition and Normalization. I'm Lauren, Certified Health Coach, and will be your presenter today. Phase 3 is a 5-week period and can be found in the second half of your journal after day 43 of the second phase. This phase is a very important part of the program as it's intended to ensure you will not gain the weight back and in fact give you the opportunity to lose a bit more. We'll be adding back certain foods gradually along with bringing back physical activity. So you've already completed day 1, phase 1, the fat loading day, and then phase 2, the portion controlled phase. So now you're on phase 3. The first 3 weeks of phase 3 are called transition, where we transition away from the formulas and allow the body to reset without them. We'll be adding breakfast and introducing a fat back to the diet. The next 2 weeks are called normalization, where we reintroduce different foods and allow the body to adjust back to a normal diet. We'll be adding a starchy vegetable and whole grains as well. The key with this phase is to add back each food category gradually to allow the body to adjust and properly digest food that it hasn't seen for a while. And it's very important to follow this phase every week. If it's not done correctly, you will risk regaining the weight loss that you accomplished in phase 2. So be sure to stick to this phase week to week. In the transition part of the phase, your appetite will be diminished. You will continue to monitor your weight daily, and you'll see fluctuations during this phase. That's normal, so don't worry. This is a good time to decide, however, if you need to lose a little more weight and you want to purchase a second round of formulas, or if you are interested in learning about your DNA, your genotype, the DNA kit. If you have the DNA package, this is the good time that you want to send that back to our office. So follow the instructions for the cheek swab and send that back to us. You will continue to lose weight during this phase, not as fast as when you were taking the formulas, but you can expect to lose 1 pound to 3 a week depending on your activity level. So this is a great time to start exercising and get moving. You want to start gradually. If you haven't been exercising, then start with some light exercises. Walking can turn into a little bit of a jog, some light resistance training, and then as you continue on, you can build on that, increase the intensity level, increase the weights. If you have already been in an exercise routine, you can continue on with what you're doing. In this phase, you'll see that your formulas that will end first most likely will be the weight management. Most of the time, the B boost and the detox will take a little bit longer. They probably will go into the first week of transition. It's the weight management that tends to run out first. So phase 2 should be continued until the weight loss management formula is finished. That's usually around the 5-week mark, day 35 or so. Once you complete that weight loss management formula, you'll do nothing different for 3 days. So you'll go about the same routine, and on the 4th day, that will actually be day 1 of transition. So you will flip to the transition section of your journal. You'll probably have a few days left in the phase 2 section. Don't worry about that. You won't typically follow that to the end. Flip right to day 1 of transition, and you'll be adding back breakfast and a serving of fat. You'll continue eating for the first few weeks. You'll continue eating from the same food lists for proteins, fruits, and vegetables. You'll be adding your breakfast, which will be your allotted amount of protein, plus a serving of fruit or a serving of vegetables. And then anytime during the day, you'll be able to start your fat intake. So day 1 of transition, you will be able to add 1 serving of fat each day. It doesn't matter where you want to have this for breakfast, lunch, dinner, or in between, but you can add the 1 serving and just be mindful of the serving sizes. You'll choose from oil-based salad dressing or cooking oils such as coconut oil or grapeseed oil, avocado oil, olive oil. You could have 1/4 of an avocado, a handful of nuts, or maybe some nut butter or peanut butter. So for transition, for the 3 weeks, week 1, 2, and 3, they all look the same. You're adding your breakfast. You've got breakfast, lunch, and dinner, protein, fruits, and vegetables, and your 1 serving of fat. Nothing will change in these 3 weeks. Then the next week in your journal will be called normalization. But if you're buying a second round of formulas, this is the time to do so. Contact your coach, or if you're buying the DNA. The DNA kit, if you've got that at home, send that in on week 1 of transition. That will give us enough time to analyze the data, analyze the culture, compile the data, and create your report. This is a lengthy report, so that will take about a month to all come together and get that back to you. So the last 2 weeks of this phase, normalization, on the first week you'll be able to add back a serving of a starchy vegetable, and on the second week you can add back a serving of a whole grain. The starchy vegetables, they're listed in your journal as well. Your choices are sweet potato, beans, any kind of bean. Your green beans are still considered your vegetable, but all of the other beans, lima beans, kidney beans, navy beans, black, red, white, all of those heavier beans that are considered here in the starchy vegetable section. You can add back a baked potato, peas, lentils. Just be mindful of the serving sizes that are in your journal. And then the following week, you can have a whole grain in place of the starchy vegetable. So your choice in that last week, one or the other. And again, pay attention to the serving sizes in the journal, but your choices would be oatmeal, brown rice, whole wheat pasta, quinoa, or whole wheat bread. And so here's a little glimpse of an example of what your daily meal plan would look like in these last 2 weeks. So you'll be having your breakfast, lunch, and dinner of protein, fruits, and vegetables. You'll add in a serving of fat during the day anytime, and then a serving of a starchy vegetable on the first week, or the second week would be the starchy vegetable or whole grain. Also, you'll see in your journal, during these last 2 weeks of normalization, you'll be able to add back some different fruits and vegetables that you haven't had for a while. So that will be nice to be able to mix things up. Also, you'll be able to add, you'll see in the beginning of the normalization section, along with these fruits and vegetables, salmon and tuna will be listed for a couple different proteins to rotate back in as well. And then just keep in mind, as you end phase 3, and if you're not going to stay with us for the DNA portion of the program, just continue to focus on, for the most part, lean proteins, 2 to 3 servings of fruits a day, 3 to 5 servings of vegetables, and maybe 2 to 3 servings of fats per day. If you're still looking to lose weight after you leave, you might want to stick with the normalization week where you're having 1 serving of fat. You could have your protein, fruit, vegetable, and then you can have your 1 serving of fat and then 1 serving of a grain or starchy vegetable. We do suggest, weekly, maybe having 4 to 8 servings per week of that. So you may be having something every day or every other day in that grain and starchy vegetable category if you're still looking to lose weight. And keep drinking plenty of water. At this point, once you're finished with the program, you can go back to eating all the foods you like, all your proteins, fruits, and vegetables, but just be mindful of the serving sizes. And if you're looking to lose a few more pounds, continue to eat the portion sizes that are outlined in that normalization phase. And really, going forward, you want to really try and avoid processed food as much as you can. And of course, we can't avoid these things 100% of the time, but if you can try and focus on the 80-20 rule, where 80% of the time we're eating whole, clean, and then 20% of the time you can go and kind of live a little and have some fun. But really emphasize food quality and avoid processed foods. Try to consume small meals, throughout the day, or healthy snacks. Break it up, 6 small meals or snacks during the day. And just focus on mindful eating. Avoid eating at your desk or in front of the TV. Really kind of enjoy your meal time. Carve out time to enjoy what you're eating. And do plan to eat when you're hungry, not starving. That is when we might make some poor choices and tend to eat the wrong foods and overeat. If you are still trying to lose weight, we do suggest avoiding alcohol and sugar and just sticking to the normalization phase until you get to your goal weight. And then avoid grains and high-calorie foods 3 hours before bedtime. Measure out your food rather than eating out of the container. you'll want to continue to measure for a few months until you're much more comfortable with eyeballing. Then you can at least kind of not really have to be so diligent on the measuring piece. That's fine, but do that for a couple of months so you get used to what a serving size is for you. Continue tracking your weight. You can use that Pro Weight Loss app for a year from the time that you signed on, and keep using our recipes. Download them, use them whenever you need. And really, it's important to incorporate physical activity at least 3 times a week. 3 to 5 would be nice, and it doesn't have to be all vigorous workouts. You can incorporate a few of those days, could be, a brisk walk, and try and kind of mix it up a little bit. And just keep working on changing your bad habits to good habits. You've come such a long way. You've had 10 weeks in the program, and that is plenty of time to really get rid of those bad habits and turn them into good habits. So you've already done that. You've already done the hardest part of the work. So now you just need to continue to maintain. And that will help keep the pain off. And then again, if you are looking for a maintenance plan, this is a great opportunity to think about the DNA and your genotype. If you haven't received any information on this, then please let us know. We can always sit down with you and kind of go through a sample DNA report so you can see exactly what it entails in the information that you'll be receiving in your DNA report. But it is going to focus on macronutrients and how we should be eating. Percentage of our daily caloric intake should come from our 3 macronutrients: fats, proteins, and carbs. It's going to also talk about your exercise and what intensity level your genotype would be best with, what types of exercises for cardio and for weight training. So it gets really detailed, talks about your muscle fibers, talks about your food plan, exactly how many servings of each food category you should be having daily. And then there's a whole section on your behavioral tendencies, which is always nice to, if you're not aware of, if you're a stress eater or a sugar craver, this at least will point out these items and make you aware of that, and that will help you make better choices. And so it's really all about, when we know our macronutrients, then we can focus on our protein, our vegetables and fruits, the healthy whole grains, the healthy fats, and that will help us maintain healthy weight. So you can either call us to order the DNA kit at 877-323-0107, and that will give you everything you need to maintain your healthy weight and lifestyle. And just a final note to remember, weight management does require an ongoing commitment on your part and a realization that it's going to take time and willingness to change for the good. But you should be proud of yourself. So congratulations on taking this step and achieving what you've achieved so far in this journey. And we hope that you are well on your way to your optimal health, and we wish you well. Any questions, you can visit us at the support portal. Thank you.